Hey, it's Kimberlee and welcome back to my channel. I make videos on all things lifestyle on a budget, and I am really excited to share this video. I am open to change. But it does take me a little bit of adjusting. So let's get into a financial video. As you read in the title, I decided to do the big challenge that I've seen all over. I've mentioned in the past as I was going on my credit journey. I paid off all my debt last year, if you saw those videos, and I was telling you how I was going about doing that. I took extreme circumstances of basically no spend challenges here and there. I did come across a video on TikTok. I will link it down below or link the account so you can check the information. But basically people were talking about how they're like, why use a debit card? That's crazy. Like, I never use my debit card for anything. Then they charge all their purchases. And I was like, absolutely not. Are you crazy? Like, no way. I would never, ever do that. I'm pretty sure I literally said that in one of the videos. And here we are, 2023, we're changing things up, we're doing different strategies. So in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing my experience of ditching my debit card and using my credit card for a bunch of purchases. First, I do have my glasses. I just got new glasses recently. I got these from Hayware. Shout out to my girl Olivia for putting me onto this brand. Basically, when I went to finally get my eyes checked, I wear contacts. They were like, oh yeah, you need to update your glasses, which I just never have because it's so expensive. And so they were like, oh yeah, your glasses will probably be like, $300 for the frame and then $200 plus for the lenses. You have a high prescription, da 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 da. I was like, oh right, this is why I never update my glasses. At Hayware, you could actually get your prescription and your lenses on the same day. They made these in like 10 minutes. So I didn't need the prescription, but I believe it's about like $69 or so. You can make an appointment, get the prescription done, and then you can go right ahead and buy those glasses. I went right in. They range from $79 all the way up to I think maybe $200 or so, which is including the lenses. I settled in on the Donovan. I was nervous because I do have a really high prescription, so it is gonna cause you to see like the lens on the side, and it's actually not too bad. Like, there are some places where you'll see where my eyes look kind of small, but that's just because it's a really high prescription. I think when I purchased it, I got like a discount that someone else can use. So I'll post that down below if you're interested in checking out Hayware. You can buy online, but I highly recommend you would go in person. Anyway, that's where my glasses are from. We're trying to save our eyes. And now let's get into saving our credit. What is the point of charging all your purchases? So for me, I have the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, and I have cashback rewards that accumulate over time from my purchases. In the past, when I'm using everything on my debit card, I'm not getting any of those rewards. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, once I paid off all my debt, the way that I was continuing to have a little bit of utilization on my credit cards was to have some of my monthly bills on there, which is great. I think I have about 5 bills. But they don't really accumulate that many points. Basically, the Chase Freedom Unlimited Rewards like cashback program, it gives you 5% off on Chase Travel. Currently, I'm not really going anywhere, so I don't really use that. It gives you 3.5% on your Lyft rides. That's like a program that I signed up for. So on my Lyft rides, I get a little more cash back. You get 3% on dining and drugstore. That's a big one for me. And then for everything else, you get 1.5% on cash back. Now, if you have another credit card, comment down below if it's better with those cashback rewards, because sometimes I'd be like, man, I wish it was all like 5% or more. It's almost like investing. So it's like you put in and you want to get more out in the end, and that's what the cashback kind of does, because then I'll have all those points racked up that can turn into cash, that can be used for travel, that can be used for whatever. It's something versus nothing. So what I decided to do is, for this year, I started in January, I was going to charge all of my purchases that I make on the daily to my credit card. And then here's the kicker, here's the most important part, 2 times in the month, I'm going to pay that card off. The goal is to still use the strategy of making it look like you don't have a balance for majority of the month, so you don't have any interest charges or anything like that. I've been doing it around between like the 11th and the 15th of the month. I'll pay that chunk off, and then I continue making my purchases, and then I'll do another payment when my credit is due. And that actually really helps me. It's just been an adjustment, because when it comes to costs, I like to see money going down, not stacking up. Like, I don't want to see my credit card stacking up to how much I owe more and more. Whereas when I used to use my debit card, it's like I just see the money going down and I'm very aware of what I have left over. Now it's like I have to think twice, where I'm like, okay, here's the money in my debit account, and here's the credit charges, and as they're getting higher and higher, I'm like, oh my God, will I be able to pay that? And yes, I will, but it's just an adjustment. Whereas when you're shopping around and using your debit card, you're like, all right, here's how much money I have. you're gonna instantly take that money away, and now I have this left over. So to get specific with some hard numbers, I'll share an example of what I did in January. So on January 11th, for example, I made a payment of about $590 to pay off the purchases that I had made so far that month, including the ones that started after my statement had closed. Because like I mentioned, most of my bills end up coming in around the 24th, 25th, 26th, like the end of the month. Those bills plus the purchases that I made for the start of January ends up being around $590. On the 11th, I paid that and then kind of begin from scratch again. Then when my credit card was due, I paid $350, which pretty much covered the rest of the purchases that I had made, and then to cover the rest of the bills that were going to be due. Now, February, we had a lot of purchases, including these glasses. I had the eye exam, I had to get new contacts. So those purchases, plus other things that I had on the daily, groceries, eating out, traveling around the city like with Lyft or whatever. I paid about $840 on February 13th to get that half down. That is a much larger chunk. That's basically what I had paid in the whole month of January, was just the first half of February. New York is expensive, I'm just saying. What I plan to do going forward, because now at the end of February, I'm already looking at the purchases that I continue to make for the month. I'm probably gonna have to do about $500. Now, what am I not charging? I'm not completely ditching my debit card because I do still use it for simple things like my transportation. I wish there were Chase rewards for transportation around the city, but when I use my MetroCard, it's charged $2.75. I do still obviously use my debit card for my rent and all of that. That is still coming off as well. 2 of my utility bills cannot be put on credit cards, so that's another thing to pay attention to. You can't just like ditch a debit card because you're still gonna have to have some sort of form of payment that's connected to your account. There were a couple of things where I was like, oh, this meal is like $14, like what's the point? But 1.5% off of that 14 is something, and if I'm trying to build that cash back for later on, then I should just do it, right? Yes, I should just do it. My main goals for this is to get those points, get that cash back, get money for my expenses, get that credit utilization going a bit so we see some flow. Because my credit limit is much higher than the expenses that I'm making, it's not going to be a negative impact. Now, if I had a really low credit limit and I was doing this, I don't know, it might go up a bit, and that's not always a good thing. Chase has like a chart that shows like when your credit usage is high, it's in the red. It's like, you shouldn't be doing this. Since I paid down my debt, it's been in the green, and it's way, 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 way low. This is where it's also been most recently. That's how I know that we're good. And now another benefit I noticed is that between December and January, my credit score jumped up 10 points. If you remember, when I paid off my credit and I was so excited about that, it was a complete flatline because my credit score really didn't change. I'll take 10 points, like let's go. I was super happy about that. So that's a major benefit because it's showing that I'm using the card, but I'm also responsibly paying it off, and we're kind of like getting back down to zero each time, which is the goal. Now moving into the next topic of like, is this really worth it? Yes, because at the very least, you're getting something versus nothing. I wasn't getting anything by doing my purchases on my debit card. I'd say it's definitely worth looking into depending on the type of credit card you have. What other cards out there have like higher rates or percentages of cash back? Is there something else out there that might be even better? I think this is a great card for where I'm at. But anyway, moral of the story, this is working for me. It takes a bit of an adjustment, but charging all your purchases to your credit card for the goal of building that cash back, getting those points up, helping with your credit utilization, I now see why people are so into it. I get it. Let's have a discussion down below. Is this something that you would do? Is this something that you already do and you're like, you're late to the game? If you're paying down debt right now, like, would this be beneficial to you? I don't know. I feel like you just have to be really on it, but not saying you wouldn't be, so maybe you are. I'll definitely give an update in a couple months to see if I've built my points up at all. Right now I'm at 15,000, so I shot up 2,000 points. I'll have a link down below to the Chase Freedom Unlimited card if you want to like take a look and see if that's something for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.